Hey, this is Ron Coddington from Military Images Magazine. I am saying hello to everyone out there from our headquarters, our world headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, on this chilly November evening. And we'll give a couple of minutes for folks to come on. And while you're doing that, I'll mention the Franklin Civil War Show, which is coming up soon at the end of this month. And Military Images will be there. I will be there. We'll be set up at a table. We usually are on the upper deck around the big ring on top. So if you are going to the show in Franklin, for sure, come on by and say hello. If you've got some of your best, most treasured images with you from your collection, I would love the opportunity to scan them and to consider including them in a future issue of the magazine. So I hope that you'll take the time to stop by and say hello. Not only do we look for your great images, but we're also interested in story ideas, any of your feedback, thoughts on what we can do, stories that you would like to see. It's a good opportunity to stop by and share that information. So we will see you in Franklin, Tennessee at the end of this month. So I'm going to talk a little bit now about an unexpected gift, a package that I received today in the mail. And here's the envelope from Michael Reese from out in California. He sends a very nice note along with it and says, Ron, found these in my files, thought you might like to see them. Herb sent me some over 40 years ago. He goes on to say, your Military Images is a pleasure to read. You do good work. Most cordially, Michael. It's Michael Reese in San Francisco. Michael sent this container along with his note, a cardboard piece of cardboard folded in half, and inside are these. And for those of you who are collectors, have been collecting for a while, when I hold up these larger images and these sort of snapshot sizes, you may recognize them, these black and whites, as being sort of the social media of the 1970s and the 1980s. These social media, these faces are from Herb Peck Jr., the renowned collector, the unique one-of-a-kind individual. And sitting right on top of the stack was this image here of Custer. And that, I believe, is Herb Peck to the left, sort of looking with a bit of a surprised, devious, slightly devious expression. For those of you who have seen him at shows in the past, you'll recognize this expression. On the back, he's got a nice note that he's writing to Mike, and he signs it with his name, Herb, on the back. So this is a postcard that was sent by Herb Peck to Mike Reese some time ago. Let's see here. It's got a 9-cent postage stamp on it, 1976. So we're looking at a 45. Is that right? 76, 86, 96. Yeah, 45 years ago on this postcard. Another postcard here. A great image of a soldier with a knife and what appears to be maybe a camp hat or something in his arm. And then there's a bunch of snapshot size images here. All of these have the Herb Peck Jr. Logo on the back from Nashville, Tennessee. By the way, Herb was a photographer and worked at Vanderbilt in Tennessee. So he was a gregarious, one-of-a-kind guy, loved to share photographs. I'll tell you a little bit more about him in just a bit. But if you take a quick look at some of these images that he took photographs of, just image after image of just terrific looking, terrific photographs, like a Confederate soldier wearing an overshirt, holding a small pistol. Here's one of those Continental soldiers that served in the Union militia prior to in the early part of the war. Here is a black soldier, a man in a greatcoat, and then another man. I believe they're both cavalry soldiers, as best I can tell. I've never seen these before. Just amazing. Another Confederate with a Bowie knife. This is an image. I believe these guys are New York infantrymen. Mike McAfee might have owned this image at one time. Thomas Harris, if you're out there, you can tell us about that one. Here's a great image of appears to be a Zouave with a flag in the background, gripping a small knife at his waist. Tricorn hat. Wow. The list goes on and on. Robert E. Lee, full standing. A crystal clear image of a soldier. Looks like a converted rifle, flintlock rifle, powder. He's got his little powder cask in there. Sword. It's got everything. Here's a individual with some sort of a ribbon. I can't read what's on it. The list just goes on and on. Some really fantastic images here. So just a ton of stuff. And then some larger images that, wow, look at the plume on this soldier's hat. New Hampshire infantrymen. Gosh, what a treasure trove of photographs. I could, another black soldier here. All of these sent to Michael Reese at some time, and Michael has generously sent them to me, and we will put them in the Military Images archives. In fact, I'm tempted to do something with them in terms of a future article about Herb. And I went through looking through some resources. Interesting, if you do a search online, just a general search, you find a lot of examples of Herb's contributions as a collector, but not as much as you would expect. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he was contributing up till his death in 2004. So we're in those early days, the first decade of the commercial internet. And so not quite as much of his stuff has made it online, but for sure from the 1960s and 70s up to his death, the number of books that featured his work and the number of folks that he impressed at shows, the number of these images he's given away, he touched countless individuals. So I found this image of him, the only portrait I could find. I'm sure there are more out there, but I found this 1964 portrait of him in a Tennessee newspaper, which bears a very striking resemblance to the man posed with the Custer images. And his passing in February of 2004 was marked by the Tennessean in Nashville. Staff writer Michael Cass captured, I think, some of the essence of who Herb Peck was. Describes him as a larger-than-life character, served as a photographer for Vanderbilt University, as I mentioned. I did not mention the Department of Fine Arts. Died of heart failure at 68 years old. Took art classes, Did a lot of conversion of pictures to slides. Herb carried his camera almost constantly, often photographing friends in conversation and then generously delivering photographs to them a couple of days later. Mr. Peck had plenty of friends, so many and so varied. Quote, there was nothing he couldn't talk about. The list goes on of comments. Here's a good one. He was impervious to fashion or convention or correctness, one of his friends said. Quote, I was one of the people who hung around Herb just to hear what would come out of his mouth next. Those of you who remember from the shows, he commanded the table where he was, and certainly the aura that was Herb could be felt throughout the room. Let me see, his another detail, the kind of things that he said were almost never at the expense of any person. So a bit generous in his comments. He liked to have fun, but not at the expense of others. So that's a bit of his obituary from 2004 in the Nashville Tennessean. A couple of months later, in the May-June 2004 issue of Military Images, we paid tribute to him in the magazine. A comment, Herb's unparalleled collection graced the pages of countless books, magazines, and journals for more than 4 decades. Herb collected Civil War and earlier era images with a passion seldom equaled in the hobby. He was a mentor to many who followed in his path in developing their own collections. Let me see. He'll be sorely missed by all who knew this courtly Southern gentleman. His scholarly devotion to history and early American military photography will not be forgotten. That's the 2004 issue of Military Images. Many of you may be familiar with a singular event. A significant chunk of his collection was stolen in 1978, and advertisements were published in Military Images and other publications seeking to recover those images. And for many years, those images were just gone and lost and not seen again. But they started to come out. A couple of them were found over a period of years. And then in October of 2020, so a little more than a year ago, a significant part of the collection was found in Tennessee, his home state, and work is still being done to recover the rest of that collection. The images that were recovered in October of 2020 were estimated value between $45,000 and $50,000. The official collection is valued between, I guess, the entire stolen collection was valued between $500,000 and $750,000. So the FBI is involved in this case, and they're continuing to do the work. So if you have any leads on any of those images or know anything, the FBI would want to hear from you. And I have contacts with the family through their spokesperson. So if you've got questions or need to get in touch, let me know, and I'll be glad to point you in the right direction. I'm not alone. There's many other veteran collectors who can do the same for you. So that's my little talk tonight about Herb Peck Jr., one of the true characters of collecting. When I was at Gettysburg Show recently, I was in conversation with one person who said the two most talked about figures in Civil War collecting, the two biggest personalities, were Herb Peck and Bill Turner. Certainly both of those men were larger than life figures. So at some future point, I'll have to do a little talk about Bill Turner, although folks like Bobby McCoy, who was a big devotee and someone who was inspired by Bill, could probably do a much better job than I could. Certainly, he has told his share of stories in the past. So tonight, though, we're all about her Peck, and with a big thanks to Mike Reese for sending these really terrific images from that Herb used to send out. So again, we'll give you a little picture of Herb right there, and there you go. So uh, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching. Again, for those of you who will be at the show in Franklin, I hope you'll stop by our table. One other note, the next issue of Military Images is currently at the printer. That's the Winter 2020 issue. And I'll have, if everything goes according to plan, I will have copies with me at the Franklin show. They will go in the mail at the very end of the month or early December. So if you are a subscriber, you can look forward to getting that in your mailbox. If you are not a subscriber, it's never too late to get on the list. We can get the Winter 2020 issue in your hands sooner than later. All you have to do is go to Shop Military Images shopmilitaryimages.com, and you'll see all of our magazine deals. You can subscribe, and if you use, here's my tip for the evening, use the promo code GIFT, and you'll get a discount. So go check out shopmilitaryimages.com, and whether you're getting a gift for you, and this is just for new subscribers, a special introductory rate, or if you want to give a gift to a friend. You know, it is the holiday season, so if you're feeling generous and you've got someone who you think has just about everything that they need to, could possibly ask for around the Civil War, but they don't have military images, now is a good time to subscribe. So go check out shopmilitaryimages.com, use the promo code GIFT. Again, that's only good for first-time subscribers, not good for renewals. So go get a gift for a friend, or your local library, or your local national battlefield, or some other historic site. So lots of opportunities there. A good way to pay it forward and give the gift of history. So with that, I'll leave you for the evening. Wish you all well. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.